Good morning and good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It's Good Tues-Newsday, but also happy birthday to this man right here. Let me play your confetti and do your Beatles intro here.
I'm only 27.
Only 27 young.
And, gotta be, 27's a tough year right here from the rock star perspective.
Okay. Anyways, I'm done playing the Beatles music that we're gonna get copyrighted with.
Right.
This is Before Coffee.
They stole that riff, by the way.
International game show where we look up our stories right before we started. We just got caffeine. We're drinking it right now during the show. And we're learning to read and speak live on stream. So first, let's roll the segue wheel, but first, let's get into our headlines. That's how the intro goes. Oh, I did the wrong one. Today on Good Tues-Newsday. Why this Yorkshire market town is the happiest place to live in the UK, and 3-year-old Prodigy becomes youngest rated chess player in history.
3? That's crazy. Good news from the United States. Well, not all from the United States. We're on Good Tues-Newsday. A 500-year-old treasure ship is found buried in an unnamed desert. And there is good news for the United States as the University of Minnesota scientists find fungi that can fight emerald ash insects.
Nearly 3 times more encounters with the endangered Sumatran tigers in camera trap photos than in the past years. And Arctic divers reach a never-before-explored ocean ridge studded with volcanoes.
More good news. India state eliminates extreme poverty. Let's see what extreme poverty consists of. Probably consists of nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
I have extreme poverty, right?
That's definitely something to celebrate. In my culture news, somebody found a ship in the desert. These scientists found a 2,000-year-old party boat off of the coast of Alexandria.
Wow, more boats. And it is National Christmas Card Day. So if you still send them out, load up on those stamps that the post office still delivers mail in your part of the country because our government is shutting down. For December 9th, 2025 on Before Coffee. Mail in these rural communities anymore. New contractor? I don't know. Musk?
I don't know either.
They get mail once a week, maybe. You have to go to the post office and pick it up. Yeah, it's going to happen. You have to go to the post office, pick up your mail, morons. Congratulations.
Josh also says happy birthday to you in chat. And
thank you. I'll be expecting my cake with 27 candles. Because I'm delusional.
27 years of being delusional. Let's roll our segue wheel.
The older you get,
Sorry?
The older you get, the less reality has an effect. I said the older you get, the less reality has an effect on you.
That's true.
So,
you just kind of get stuck in your ways as well.
You become Dame Judi Dench, and you remember what you want to remember, right?
You can remember Shakespeare, but you don't know when your next doctor's appointment is.
To be or wait, it's at 4 o'clock.
Our first segue is going to be tell a joke about, the happiest place to live in the UK. This is on The Independent by Dan Haygarth. People praised Skipton's range of shops, its high street, and nearby green space. Skipton is the gateway to the Yorkshire Dales and is surrounded by scenic views as a result. Recorded in the Domesday Book of 1086, it has a well-preserved 11th century castle overlooking its center and boasts a traditional high street, shopping arcade, museum, and an array of independent shops. The survey, conducted by Right Move, saw Skipton residents rank their hometown particularly highly for its access to nature, so it's biased. I thought it was going to be like people go, like some people went around and like graded towns, but it's like, what do you think about living in your town? I think it's the best town. Okay, well, you would say that.
Oh,
you
yeah,
live there.
well, yeah.
That's the only people living in Skipton said they ranked their hometown particularly high for its access to nature and green spaces, the friendliness of the people, and access to essential services such as schools. Are there towns that don't have a school? Wow.
Yeah, I grew up in a town
this is
without
the
a school.
happiest town in the UK. The bar is low.
I had to go
right? The bar is so low. People are also praised Skipton for the strength of its community.
It's not unusual.
Saying they can be themselves there. The combination of natural beauty and friendly community is what makes the town of around 15,000 people special, according to Dave Forshaw, who runs a live music bar and record shop in Skipton Soundbar. Originally from nearby Halifax, Mr. Forshaw moved to Skipton in the 1990s and has made it his home, which he described as picturesque and beautiful. Reacting to the town topping the survey, he told The Independent, "It's a beautiful town, and we do have a lot of tourists come here, but the folks that live here are just lovely, lovely people. It's just such a nice place to be. It's on the edge of Yorkshire Dales, a 2-minute drive, and you're on some of the most beautiful countryside, or as Yorkshire people say, you're in God's country." I apologize for my northern accent, I can't do one. For Andrew Goodall, who runs the Woolly Sheep Inn pub, Skipton's happiness is down to the people who live there. He told The Independent, "It's wonderful to see. We live in a beautiful place, and it's nice to see a positive reaction. Everyone here is polite, everyone is happy, everyone enjoys living here. It's great to have a positive publicity like this." Skipton boasts plenty of pubs, cafes, and independent shops, which make it both a great place to live and a huge draw for tourists, according to Mr. Forshaw. "We obviously are very proud of what we do. We are a music venue and a record shop, and we bring a lot of people into town." About his fellow independent businesses, Mr. Forshaw added, "With it having quite a small population, it's good that the town is so nice, so we can get a lot of tourism, and there's really support at the high street." By the way, they call high streets main streets, right? It's just the main shopping street, okay? But they call them high streets for some reason. I don't know why. I'm not British. You know what's going on with the high streets in town, up and down the country, but Skipton's high street has no empty shops. That's a rarity these days. Those responding to the survey were also happy with the affordability of the area, feeling they earn enough to live comfortably. The average asking price for a home in Skipton is, hear this, £326,000. Sorry, £1,000. £326,000. That's not too bad. That is maybe before the crash prices, before the 2008 housing crisis prices. It's not a bad price, okay? There's some places that are $1 million. It's actually lower than the national average, which is at £364,000. Right Move said. The town also gets a name recognition for Skipton Building Society. With its principal office located near the castle, it is a major employer in the area. Ian's Wrigglesford, who works in the corporate affairs at the Building Society, said, "Skipton is the place where community generally means something, and that's what makes living and working here so special. The friendliness of the town, the accessibility of the green spaces, and the incredible backdrop of Skipton Castle and Yorkshire Dales all contribute to a quality of life that's hard to match. From my lunchtime walks to simply enjoy the views from our office, the balance this town offers is remarkable." Then there's a really beautiful picture of like a nice river or creek next to the chapel, which has a bunch of, gravestones, and it perfectly is mirrored in the water. The Bolton Abbey Estate, which is at the edge of the Yorkshire Dales National Park. It's no surprise has been named the happiest place to live. It's a town where people look out for each other, and that spirit creates a truly rewarding place to call home. Richmond upon Thames and Camden, both in London, were placed second and third respect. I do love Camden. I mean, I've never lived there, but every time I go to London, I go to Camden. So, gets a vote for me. But those are two places in London that are
Camden.
considered right moves happy at home, or second and third. Residents of Richmond also ranked it highly for its access to nature and essential local services. I mean, they're right on the Thames. That's literally, the town's called Richmond upon Thames. As well as non-essential amenities such as restaurants, shops, right move said.
Home of David Faraday.
Yeah, there you go.
The
It added
Faraday.
this year's study marks the first time Camden has taken a podium spot in 14 years of research being collected. Colleen Babcock, Rightmove's property expert, said, "Each year, our study celebrates all the different things that make us feel happy with where we live. Our neighbors, green spaces, having access to important services. A lot more goes into choosing an area to live other than the home itself. Being with easy-to-reach nature and green spaces regularly comes out as an important factor for people, along with having friendly neighbors and feeling you can truly be yourself where you live. It's great to see the town of Skipton getting the attention it deserves this year, having ranked highly in previous studies." So there is some sort of study they do. I'm not sure if they just like put a poll around or, go to people's doors and say, what would you grade living here? But whatever she said, it's very complicated how they determined this list, but they're not telling us how. They're just saying, oh, we do a lot of research, okay? Trust us. But there you go. Number 3 places to move to if you want to live in the UK: Skipton, Richmond upon Thames, and Camden. Though I would not advise you to move to London at all, but if you want, those are definitely, they didn't say how much the houses are in London, but let me tell you, it's not even the price, it's finding one. It's being able to actually get a house there.
All right, I can't come up with a great joke, but I got a city joke.
Okay.
I had to read this one. Mother was trying to hail a cab with her daughter, noticed several wildly dressed women who were loitering on a nearby street corner. The mother finally hailed her cab and they both climbed in, at which point the young daughter asked, "Mommy, what are all those ladies waiting for by the corner?" The mama replies, "Those ladies are waiting for their husbands to come by and pick them up on the way home from work." The cabbie, upon hearing this exchange, turns to the mother and says, "Come on, lady, tell your daughter the truth, for crying out loud. They're hookers." A brief period of silence follows, and the daughter asks, "Mommy, do the hooker ladies have any children?" And the mother replies, "Of course, dear. Where do you think cabbies come from?" "Your mom's a whore," is what she called the cabber. Oh, my.
That was
Dragging
a good
the
one.
cab,
That was a
right?
good one.
Ripping on people, we'll rip on you too. And we know, how does this guy know? Because he pays for sex. That's why.
Okay,
next-
I have another
next story or
story,
next
another
step?
good story. This is about the youngest chess champ, or rated. I should say rated. I don't think he won anything, but he's been rated. You can only get rated as a chess player if you actually win some games or lose some games and go against other chess players, right? That's how it works. So this is the youngest rated chess player in history. This is from Luke Baker on The Independent. A 3-year-old in India has become the youngest player in chess history to earn an official rating from the International Chess Federation, or FIDE. Sarwagya Singh Kushawa, who hails from the Sagar district in Madhya Pradesh, was just 3 years, 7 months, and 20 days old when he earned his first FIDE rating, breaking the previous record set by Anish Shakar from Kolkata last November by about a month. Okay, so there's 2 3-year-olds running around beating people at chess. To achieve a ranking, a player needs to play against 5 rated players in a FIDE-approved tournament and secure at least 1 draw or victory. So they did win once, which Kushawa did on 3 occasions in the events across Madhya Pradesh and other parts of India. Despite currently being enrolled in nursery, the toddler's rapid rating is 1572. A mark better than many adult players. Yeah, probably definitely better than me. Mine's probably 700. I used to want to be a chess player, but I'm just... I'm not fast enough.
Don't ask AI to rate a joke, man.
For context, the base rating is 1400. If your rating falls below that, then you are considered unrated. The legendary world number 1 Magnus Carlsen, who first played the sport when he was 5 years old, currently tops rapid chess with a huge rating of 2824. Rapid chess, of course, is you have to beat the timer. You have to be quick. You gotta be fast. You gotta place those pieces down. I would never be good at rapid chess. It's a matter of great pride and honor for us that our son has become the youngest chess player in the world to achieve a 5 ranking, Kushawa's father Siddharth Singh told Indian news channel ETV Bharat. We want him to become a grandmaster. Kushawa, who was born in 22, first picked up chess last year at the age of 2.5 and has to either stand up on his chair or sit on 3 chairs stacked on top of each other to reach the other side of the board. Gotta get that arm length. He practices for 4 or 5 hours each day, one of which is spent at a chess training center, and the rest spent playing online games and learning tactics via videos. Kushawa also has a chess coach, Nitin Chaurasya, and after initially crying if his coach was too strict, Chaurasya found a different way to motivate his young charge. He would give him a toffee or a pack of crisps each time he played the right move, just like a dog. Reminder, dogs are like 2 to 3 years old, so it works the same way, really. When his parents first approached me to train him last year, he was looking like a very normal kid, said Chaurasya, but soon his capability to play the game, started to shine. You ask him anything and there's no hesitation in answering. He can also hold his own on a board against older kids. You can see his guts when he plays. We'll start looking for other coaches soon, who can train him for the goal of becoming a grandmaster. Maybe get him some online coaching too. India is becoming something of a chess hotbed, being home to the current world champion Gukesh Domaraju and 5-time World Cup winner Viswanthan Anand. So, get out of the way, China, which is known for having young prodigies. It's India's turn.
Yeah. Boy, there's some terrible jokes. They're not even funny. Don't ask AI to write a joke, by the way. It's like, there's no humor.
It's always a disappointment.
Not even funny. It's like, don't jokes gonna be funny? None of these jokes are actually that funny. Let's see what we got here. Let's try this one. Just by hanging around tourists. There was once a hippo child prodigy. I'm reading this cold. I didn't approve it. That's too long. Forget it. Not the hippo one. There's a store in Spain that sells... That's too long, too. Shit. 45-minute story. No, thank you. Sorry about that. There's no good child prodigy jokes, and the AI doesn't write good ones either. I should have just wrote my own joke. Just should have wrote my own joke. Let's do the AI one just for fun, right? Let's do it. All right, let's do one of these AI ones that make absolutely no sense, aren't even funny. Hello, I got to reload it now. Here's a classic child prodigy. It's not even funny and it's too long. Let's do one short. This one is not funny at all.
Yeah.
Again, what is a child prodigy's favorite part of the joke?
What is it?
The punchline, but only after they've mathematically derived its logical conclusion, which is, okay. Still not funny. Still not funny at all. It's like, you have to at
least try to think it's funny before you already ruined it by saying it's not going to be funny. So it's not going to be funny if you're already saying
okay, here's another one. Here's another one. See if you get it. See if this even... If you can explain to me how this is funny. Why did the child prodigy get kicked out of the orchestra? You don't know the answer. I'll just give it to you. Because when they asked him to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, he started composing a 12-tone serial symphony, much to the conductor's frustration. That's not a punchline. That's not a punchline.
I didn't even understand it because you said it so fast. You need to say it slower.
Why did the child prodigy get kicked out of the orchestra was the question. Is he understand the question or you didn't understand it? The Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star thing I just said, which wasn't funny. Because they asked him to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and he started composing a 12-note serial symphony, much to the conductor's frustration. If the punchline's longer than the joke, it's not a joke. Unless you think this overly explaining things
I think it makes sense. But your cynicism delivering it ruins the joke.
It's not funny. It's just not funny. It's just what?
Silly Prodigy. This isn't where you're supposed to be composing a piece just for playing Twinkle Twinkle. It makes complete sense to me. Anyways.
pithy enough to be a joke.
Let's roll our segue wheel instead of complaining about bad jokes. Next segue.
Not pithy enough.
Story.
That's my complaint. Let's not have non-pithy jokes that just go, let's over-explain.
It's a non sequitur.
All right, we're gonna go with the buried treasure story first. Non sequitur. DailyGalaxy.com. 500-year-old treasure ship found buried in a desert. And this is from Arizki Amiri. In Namibia's remote Spergebiet, a name that translates from German as forbidden zone. Why are we saying it in German? This ain't Germany. Miners looking for diamonds stumbled upon something far more valuable, the buried wreck of a 16th century Portuguese carrack laden with gold, ivory, and copper. Gold! Gold! I'm there. Preserved beneath the hyper-arid sands of the Namib Desert, the ship identified as Bom Jesus disappeared in 1533 while en route to India. It should be Bom Jesus, right? Because it's Portuguese. Discovered in 2008 with a high-security mining concession near Oranjemund, this site quickly drew attention from marine archaeologists, climate scientists, and historians alike. The Bom Jesus, let's call it, was carrying over 2,000 gold coins, 22 tons of copper ingots, and dozens, 22 tons, and dozens of West Africa ivory tusks. Hey, the silver might be worth more than the gold. They got 22 tons of, the copper might be worth more than gold because they got 22 tons of it in ingots. That means it's pure, or close to pure as they can make in 1533. Revealing a near intact cargo system spanning Europe, Asia, and Africa and Asia. The vessel, likely driven off course by a violent storm near the Cape of Good Hope, which is the tip of Africa, had been completely engulfed by sand over centuries, shielded from scavengers, seawater, and even time. It was sealed by sand and not sea. Unlike most historic shipwrecks discovered in deep ocean trenches by shallow bays, the Bom Jesus was located inland several hundred feet from the Atlantic coast. Its exceptional state of preservation is thanks to extreme aridity, dryness in other words, and sediment stability of the surrounding Namib Desert. In 2014, a peer-reviewed study in Quaternary International confirmed that the region's climate combined with shifting coastal morphology created a rare preservation chamber for the vessel's timber, cargo, and even fabric remains. Of course, gold and copper really don't corrode. Gold doesn't corrode at all. It actually lubricates itself. And copper just turns green. It just turns green. It is not just an archaeological site, it is a sealed economic time capsule from the age of discovery, said Dr. Bruno Wirtz, director of the African Institute for Marine and Underwater Research. I get to see these gold coins are from. They even have names stamped on them, and it looks like Latin. The ship cargo includes copper ingots marked with the trident seal of the Fugger banking dynasty, confirming that German financiers were backing Portuguese voyages to the Indian Ocean. A little documented detail of early colonial trade history. Additionally, a large volume of Spanish and excelentes coins already seen aboard Portuguese ships suggests that Spanish investors may have had an unusually high stake in the 1533 fleet. Or they just looted a bunch of gold. Did you ever think of that?
Smugglers.
Always possible. Yeah, they could be pirates. As theory supported by a later discovery of Elizabeth's royal archives, as cited by maritime historian Alexander Monteiro in ResearchGate. Namibia's ownership of the Bom Jesus was never contested. The vessel was found in diamond mining concession operated by NAMDEB, a joint enterprise between the Namibian government and the De Beers Group. Oh boy. If you don't know who De Beers is, they cornered the diamond market, like a century ago. I don't know, 75 years ago. De Beers owns all the diamonds in South Africa and that part of the world. That's why don't buy diamonds. They're just chunks of carbon. They can be made in a lab for pennies.
The price
You're only
of them
buying them
have
because they're imperfect.
It's controlled.
Oh, exaggerated.
They make it up, yeah.
Right. You can make perfect diamonds in a lab. They've been doing it for years. Within days of the discovery, mining was suspended and an archaeological team was assembled. Unusual for such a high value find. There is no legal battle over the ownership. Of course not. The Beers got more money than God. What the fuck are they going to do? Oh, yeah, well, we're the Beers. Take us to court, motherfucker. We're sharing it with the government. What do you want from us? Under 2001 UNESCO Convention on the Protection of Underwater Cultural Heritage, the direct legally belongs to Namibia. Portugal, though, a signatory in the ship's origin state, declined to pursue any claim. At Portugal, I could see him doing that, right? Oh, yeah, that's our stuff. Well, you should have kept track of it. That's all I can say. The decision has been widely praised as a model for ethical maritime heritage policy. Again, you're trying to explore other regions of the world for your own gain, and I can see why Portugal would not be trying. Oh, that's our gold. No, it ain't. It ain't your gold. You gave it up when you started colonizing. This is how international cooperation should function, Montero told National Geographic in 2022. There's no question the wreck is Namibian, and the country has acted with professionalism and vision of management. There'll be some rich asshole come in and try to file a claim. You watch. You watch. There'll be some rich asshole. There always is. The bomb Jesus was part of a fleet that departed Lisbon on March 1533. Historical Navy logs and visual documentation, so we know it's not a pirate ship. Okay. In the Memoria de das Armadas, an illustrated chronicle of Portuguese fleets. Armada is, of course, the Spanish word. Probably Portuguese word, too, for navy. Mark de Bom Jesus says, perdido, are lost near Cape. Near Cape. So they knew it was a shipwreck and it was gone, and oh my God, all that gold. I gotta sneeze. Hold on. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I can get through this. Montero's archival work uncovered investor letters confirming that over 20,000 Portuguese cruzados in gold had been transferred to Seville just weeks before the fleet sailed, further suggesting complex Iberian financial collaboration. Wow, somebody really took a bath when this ship crashed, right? Look at all that gold, you know? It's like, oh my God, all that gold. Or they're probably dead. Or maybe they just crashed and, you know, got butchered by natives. Though over 300 crew, clergy, and soldiers were likely aboard, only one human bone fragment, a toe found inside a decaying shoe, was recovered. Well, it has been 400 and some years. Almost 500 years. This suggests many have survived and reached land. Dr. Dieter doesn't suggest really. They reached land and got butchered, right? Dr. Dieter Nolli, the chief archaeologist on the site and head of Amir's evacuation team, told Namibiania, must be a newspaper, that access to the Orange River, just 25 kilometers south, may have offered a lifeline. Again, they left the gold in the ship, right? They were killed. They didn't stick around and like, oh yeah, we're gonna build a village here. They didn't survive. I'm just telling you, there's no way. Why wouldn't they bury the gold and come back for it if they survived, right? They didn't survive. The desert looks likeless, but for survivors in 1533, it may have offered food, water, and contact with local sand communities, Nolli noted. The Bom Jesus challenges prevailing assumptions about early modern exploration. The ship is evidence of 16th century European empires operated within deeply interconnected systems, drawing on multinational funding, complex trade commodities, and vast maritime knowledge long before the rise of corporate colonialism. Namibia, meanwhile, is planning a maritime museum in Oranjemund to house the artifacts, positioning the country not just as a guardian of lost European heritage, but as an active narrator of African maritime history, according to Namib's sustainability mission, heritage and economic development. I'm now part of a unified agenda. There's your story. Hopefully it wasn't too long, because I got another one. Oops,
well, it sounds like, you know, I lost a ship back in the 1500s, so I think that might be mine.
You think so?
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure
it's
my
non-sequitur.
ship. So, congratulations to me!
Roughly translated,
gold! Woohoo!
Your name is roughly translated to
I can put some ivory
You're
on
saying
back
your
of
name
some rhinos. Those poor rhinos killed by poachers, and then they sunk it to the bottom of the ocean. Isn't that tragic? Oh boy, I'm glad I got murdered so that you could sink at the bottom of the ocean. There's my non-sequitur.
Are you claiming to be Jesus? What you're doing? You're claiming to be Jesus? Okay, well that's cool. Okay, we got another story, and it's about trees and saving trees, because our trees in America, we used to have lots of variety of trees, but we import a lot of stuff that kills them.
Yep.
One of those endangered species is ash tree. This is from MP, Minnesota Public Radio News.org, NPR News.org. Matt Milkus, University of Minnesota scientists find fungi that can fight emerald ash borers. Borers. I said insects because I don't like the word borers. It's really hard to say. Anything with two R's like that ends up being borers. You can't say it. Who makes words like this? Stop making words like that. Anyway, University of Minnesota researchers say they discovered several naturally occurring parasitic fungi that can be weaponized against emerald ash borers, the invasive beetles responsible for killing millions of ash trees across Minnesota and the eastern United States. Scientists found the fungi in Minnesota as wood samples, then cultivated them in the lab for closer study. We're seeing that a lot of the fungi we are growing out of these ash trees were insect killers, says Colin Peters, a graduate student and a lead author of a research study. We wanted to know, can we use these to leverage the power of these fungi against emerald ash borer itself? Turns out they can. NPR
Yay!
News helped, well, that's an ad for their channel. Peters said that all of the 10 Minnesota fungi species they studied were able to infect emerald ash borers, but 4 species, 3 native to the state, showed the most promise by consistently reducing the beetle's lifespan. In some cases, the fungi can be seen sprouting from bodies of dead ash borers. That's pretty cool. Now researchers have developed field tests they hope will spread the fungi to beetles in the wild using auto-dissemination. Imagine a trap designed to attract emerald ash borers where they could be exposed to the fungi and then spread it to the other beetles. Yeah, that's how insect
tentacles.
No, they get it all over themselves and they go and spread it to the other people in their colony. That's how that spreads. Not a fun guy at all. According to the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, the state's forests have more than 1 billion ash trees. In some cities, they make up 20% of the canopy. Dead trees are only part of the problem, researchers say. Ash tree die-offs can lead to habitat changing over to grass, cattails, and shrubs, threatening plants and animals that rely on forests. With 1 billion ash trees in Minnesota, we need to explore all possible methods. I accidentally clicked on something else. We need to explore our possible methods and try to control this devastating pest, said Robert Blanchett, a professor of the University's Department of Plant Pathology and co-author of a study which was published recently in the journal Forests. Every word in this article is hard to say. Laboratory studies show that biological control of beetle-using fungi is possible, and the next step to figure out how to get this work under field conditions. While no single treatment or technique will revert the ecosystem back to before the emerald ash borer's arrival from East Asia, must have come on some wood products, I would imagine, right? Peters said the study shows natural forest management practice can keep the invader bug in check. It shows that potentially in the future, there's a world where we are applying less chemicals to the landscape instead of leveraging the power of these relationships between organisms already happening on the landscape. There's a story about fungus. We love us a fungus.
The fungus among us.
Right on.
Yeah,
You know,
I think they're totally going on this wrong. They should definitely be using octopus. Just attaching them to all the trees, and the octopus will eat all the borers. Here you go.
Oh, okay.
Problem solved. I don't know why they're going doing this fungus thing.
Yeah, but octopuses can only live in salt water. Is that correct? I don't know. But,
Isn't it freezing in Minnesota? What's the problem?
A little bit cold. This time of the year, it's only about 10 below. Yeah, the beetles don't care. They hibernate.
There's your non sequitur there. Let us roll our segue for my next stories, my next good news. This is also about animals, funnily enough.
Animals.
It is a hypothetical about tigers. That's right, the Sumatran tiger has been seen more and more on camera trap photos in the past year. This is by Andy Corbley on good old Good News Network. Tigers don't roam across Asia as they used to, but on one island in Indonesia, a population of critically endangered Sumatran tigers may have found a habitat that supplies them with enough space, intact forest, and prey to thrive and raise their young. To examine tiger population densities, researchers work alongside local rangers installed infrared cameras in forests outside the national park system. Their work, in collaboration with the government of Aceh province, resulted in almost 3 times more images being taken and individual tigers being identified than during previous surveys. So they probably have already been there, but now we can trace them better. Dedicated protection efforts are the main reason for this tiger's persistence in the ecosystem, which highlights the necessity of such measures. The team said, even though the survey was conducted in provincial forests, that reserve left support in smaller budgets than national parks. So there's still a large amount or increase of observing tigers in places where they're not even actively supported by a national park. Today, tigers occupy just 5 to 10% of their historical habitats. But on the Indonesian island of Sumatra, an important population of critically endangered Sumatran tigers may persevere. Using infrared cameras, researchers working on the island have set out to estimate sex-specific population densities and tigers' movements during 3 surveys. Reminder that I believe male tigers, these aren't pack animals, so male tigers do roam pretty far to find a mate, because you don't want to have sex with your sister. Nobody wants that. Even tigers are like, that's my sister. I have to go. I'm leaving. I'm walking. As a result, the new data, the results of this, have been published in the New Frontiers in Conservation Science. So check out that study if you would like to read the whole thing. We documented a robust tiger population, apparently among the healthiest on the island, said Dr. Joe Figel, a conservation biologist who works with Indonesian wildlife and forestry industries. For those on the ground, the onus now falls on us to double down and adequately protect them. In many ways, the looser ecosystem is ideal habitat for the Sumatran tiger. 3 times the size of a Yellowstone National Park, it is the largest contiguous tiger habitat remaining in Sumatra. It's made up of a lowland, hill, and mountain forests, of which 44% are classified as intact forest landscape. It's also more thoroughly patrolled by rangers than nearly any other place on the island, Figel said. Working with local collaborators from communities at the edges of the study area, the team put up cameras in the northern stretches of Loiser, located in Aceh province, and kept them there for 3 monitoring periods. 34 cameras were installed during March and May 23, so that's 2 years ago, or almost 3 years ago at this point. 59 cameras between June and December of 23, and 74 cameras between May and November 24. You may be asking, why are we getting this news now though? Because that's a lot of camera footage to go through. So they probably were like, oh god, is that Tom or is that Terry? Which tiger is that? Oh look, that one has that specific pattern, so we know it's this one. They were trying to identify every single tiger, right? And be able to mark them so they know that's that tiger and that's that tiger, right? So that took them this long, almost a year, well actually a year and more, right? A year and a half, 2 years to actually get all this data so that they can tell us about it. During the monitoring period, the team captured a total of 282 sufficiently clear images of Sumatran tigers to allow for identification of individuals. These are probably wildlife cameras, so motion censored. They probably got birds, I don't know if they have deer, some sort of prey animal, rabbits, whatever. But they only out of all of those cameras, they find 282 that were actually tigers. Analyzing the stripe patterns, the team identified 27, only 27, very low, right? This is 10% of what they should be. On their camera trap images, that's 14 females and 12 males. They need more females, man. And there's one tiger of unknown sex. We got a non-binary tiger. Trans pride. The relatively high number of tigers suggests there's an adequate prey in the area to support tiger presence. Over the study period, female and male individuals are photographed on an average of 14 and 16 times, respectively. High densities of female tigers indicate a healthy tiger social system in high quality habitats, where they can raise about 3 litters of cubs over a decade. Yeah, they're basically replacing themselves, right? That's how you grow your population. You need to have at least 3. You need to replace the father, the mother, and a new one. And then that's how you increase your population. So having 3 cubs is great. During the 6-month session in 23, 3 different sets of cubs were documented. 2 tiger brothers photographed together as cubs were later spotted as adults. Inside the Leuser ecosystem lies Gunung Leuser Nation Park. However, the present study was conducted in forests provincially protected by the Aceh government. In Indonesia, provincially protected forests receive far fewer resources than national parks, which are supported and managed by the central government. Camera traps placed by Figel and colleagues snapped nearly 3 times as many tiger images as during previous 90-day surveys at other sites in Sumatra, and the team was able to identify many more individuals than reported in earlier studies. Only 3 previous surveys, all carried out in protected national parks, documented more than 10 tigers in a single survey. So this is the best results of a camera trap they've had, and it's not even a national park, which gets more money. So that's what's really impressive about this. High tiger density estimates that reported in the present study were only documented in an intensive protection zone in southern Sumatra. The current study also provides valuable insights for the future of monitoring tigers, the team said. The data on tiger movement collected here could, for example, inform survey protocols and optimal camera spacing. The high numbers of tiger sightings reported were highlights to a success story that is due to a multitude of factors, said the team. The persistence of these habitats and prey populations are main reasons for our findings. Thanks to the work, activities and support of the government agencies, local Akanese and Gayo communities, donors and other researchers, Leuser has maintained important patches of lowland and hill forest where, in Sumatra, tiger prey densities reach their highest level, included Figel. So there you go. Some stories, some news about the Sumatran tiger.
The tiger story. Just a side note and non sequitur. I was born in the year of the tiger.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. It's the year of the tiger.
That's my Chinese. Well, it's not the year of the tiger this year.
No, it isn't. The year of the tiger was a couple years ago, actually.
I was born in the year of the tiger.
It's currently still the year of the snake.
You can look it up. Oh, wow. All right, man. Well, if you're a snake, have a nice day. But my hypothetical is about Tiger Woods. Get it? Tiger Woods, right? When I was a kid, the golfer, it's the name of a golfer, in case you're not familiar. When I was a kid, my mother always told me, don't play in the Tiger Woods.
Exactly. And you don't want to, you know? I think these are the tigers Tigger was looking for in that one Winnie the Pooh movie, too. They're all in Sumatra the whole time. Anyway, he was all the way in the UK. He was never going to reach Sumatra.
There you go. Your hypothetical is all Indonesian mothers say, son, stay out of the tiger woods.
Yeah, do not go play in the woods in Sumatra. You are going to get eaten by a tiger.
Yeah, stay out of the tiger woods.
Okay, my next story is shorter, hopefully. And this is about another study in volcanoes, a never before explored portion of the ocean. One of them, our least explored areas on the Earth, is the ocean because it's so vast. This is from Andy Corbley again on Good News Network. One of the most remote and unexplored parts of the planet has been visited by submersible crewed Chinese geophysicists and marine scientists for the first time ever. Having been researched from the surface by Russian scientists and the western side with robotic submersibles by US-German team in 2001, no one has ever explored the eastern side of the undersea mountain chain called the Gakkel Ridge until now. Stretching from Greenland to Siberia, this underwater ridge sits along a volcanic fault line where repeat volcanic eruptions create a new section of seafloor crust that spread away from the ridge slower, and then growth of a human fingernail. So think of this as the crack and then just spreads out. More land! On the western side of the ridge, which is easy to reach as it remains under open water, surveys found that it hosted ecosystems clustered around hydrothermal vents. ejections of gas from volcanic plumbing down the host a bizarre and rich array of life where there's virtually no life. It's very warm, it's very bubbly, and there's actually a lot of nutrients in gas ejections from volcanoes. That's actually a theory in how life started on Earth. Enough gas was in the water back in the 20 billion years ago or whatever that small little creatures started forming and growing. These ecosystems are hypothesized as the best places to look for signs of alien life forms on ocean worlds like frozen Jovian moon of Europa. So, because that's our theory, right? Our theory is that this is how life started. So if we find these on other planets, we might find life on other planets.
Right.
The eastern
side. You have to have atmosphere. You have to have gravity.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to have atmosphere. You got to have gravity, and you got to have some kind of protection against ultraviolet rays. Otherwise,
some sort of heat source. Because most of the things we know just strive off heat, whether it's the sun's heat or the geothermal heat. The eastern side, however,
you definitely need a certain amount of the greenhouse effect. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, as far as we know, right?
We could not survive though. Yeah, right.
Our current oxygen-based theories, basically.
Right.
The eastern side, so the western side has been explored, but the eastern side, however, has never been reached by a dive vehicle. This year, an expedition organized by Chinese Academy of Sciences and the Ministry of Natural Resources undertook a major endeavor to study the eastern side of the Gakkel Ridge. It involved an icebreaker ship, as the eastern ridge is located where the sea ice can remain permanent, and a scientific submersible with room for 3 called the Fungi. Or, how would you say that in Chinese? I don't know. I can't do my Chinese accent right now. Together, the team completed more than 40 dives. That's a lot, including one deeper than 14,000 feet, 5,277 meters. It is the last piece of the puzzle, said Xiao Shai Huang, a marine geophysicist at the Institute of Deep Sea Science and Engineering in Sanya, China, and the expedition's chief scientist, as they said in an interview with Nature. The dive was anything but straightforward. Floating sea ice meant that depending on how far they traveled, it might not be able to reach the surface again. This research icebreaker vehicle had to transport it to open areas, and at certain dive depths, the submersible had to use sonar to scan for holes in the ice to make sure it had an escape route. On one occasion, the icebreaker had to clear ice to make an opening for the submersible to come up again, which is why they brought it, right? Just in case. To be honest, I was never afraid, Huang said. It is really a privilege to have such an opportunity to study deep sea in person. The targeted geologically interesting areas such as sea mounts and cliff faces were while studying a variety of fish and deep sea species, which Huang said were fascinating to observe, living as they were in the dark, the cold, and the pressure in the rocks. The samples of the rocks, animals, and water recovered by the Fendus are awaiting analysis, and the team were tight-lipped about whether they encountered parallel regions of hydrothermal vents as were discovered on the western ridge. Yeah, it's weird that they're not sharing that. Because it's not unknown, right? If you think about these ridges, they're just mountains but underwater. There's plenty of mountains on land, right? Where you go one side, it's a totally different place, right? A totally different biome, different animals, just on the other side of the ridge. So it's weird that they're not sharing whether or not the eastern side is different from the western side. But hopefully, in a couple years, we'll get an actual study posted somewhere where they'll say, this is what we found, this is what we discovered, and stuff like that. All from this study. So very cool. Inspiring science. Okay. Discovering the secrets.
So I do a hypothetical. I have a hypothetical what China's actually going to do. They're going to, and this makes more sense to me than going to some far distant planet or looking for some crap, and it would take a probe a year, 2 years to get there. My thing is the Chinese are exploring the moon, but they're exploring the side of the moon we don't see, right? There's no dark side of the moon. We only see, from our point of view on Earth, one part of the moon because it stays in place, it doesn't spin. The other side is totally a mystery to us and the naked eye, but China's been there, and my theory is they're going to start drilling into, with robots, of course, drilling into
the core of the moon.
And they're going to start a fucking base underneath the Earth. Why? Because it'll protect them from ultraviolet rays, it'll protect them from all the sun's rays, and they can supply themselves, theoretically, with oxygen from trapped oxygen on the planet, right? Because
Yeah.
there's the moon theoretically smashed into the Earth, and that's why we're tilted, and that's why the Earth it got captured in orbit around Earth. And of course, when it did a lot of material transfer when it smashed into it, and there's lots of oxygen on the moon. It's just trapped in the rocks. Well, anyway, that's my hypothetical theory of what the Chinese or anybody should do.
I mean, we did do a story, I think, earlier in the year about China going to the dark side of the moon, so nice.
Right, yeah. Well, it's not even...
reference.
It's incorrectly called the dark side of the moon because it's not dark.
Yeah, it's always facing the sun,
It's just as light as the rest.
Yeah.
It has just as much light as the rest of the moon. It depends on what time of what angle the sun is hitting it, and if the Earth is blocking it or whatever. Yeah. So
when it's a new moon,
block the
that's
sun.
when the moon is a new moon, it's actually getting all the sun. Because it's
on this side.
It. Yeah.
On this side, it's getting all the sun,
yeah.
right? On this side, that's all it means. It doesn't mean all the moon is getting it. The other side is dark, just like our planet, right? It's a big ball. Half of it's dark, half of it's light.
No, the flat earthers.
And sometimes it's blocked.
Don't tell them that.
Sometimes it's blocked by the Earth, which means, the Earth is the one that's blocking it, so you can't see the whole moon. So there's your total.
All right, let's roll our segue for your next story.
This is from the Brookings Institute, a liberal think tank, which does actual research in the thing.
Again. Give me a poem.
Of course, conservative think tanks like the Heritage Foundation only think of how can we manipulate things so we can make shitloads of money and destroy the planet. Mixed metaphor. And the Brookings Institute is a liberal think tank which says, how can we improve the planet? Not, how can we exploit the resources? This is from the Brookings.edu. How Kerala eliminated extreme poverty. What is extreme poverty? Well, let's find out. I'm curious what extreme poverty is. I'm just in regular poverty. When the chief minister of India's Kerala state, oh boy, here comes the name, Pinarayi Vijayan said on November 1st, 2025, that the state had eliminated extreme poverty. It surprised many. The announcement coincided with another in the United States, where a prolonged government shutdown left 1 in 8, or 42 million Americans, at risk of going hungry without food stamps. Did a state with a per capita income less than the 20th of the U.S. achieve this? If so, how and with what implications? Of course, people on food stamps are not in extreme poverty. They usually have a residency. Yeah, some of them are, but I can't verify. You don't have to be extreme poverty to get food stamps. You can actually have a job and a place to live, but you can't pay your bills. Recognizing valid and important issues of definition and measurement, the key message is that the lower middle income economy with modest growth has virtually eliminated severe destitution at this point. It is accompanied by this economic expansion combined with education, health, and distribution over many years, in addition to safety nets with targeted interventions, community participation, and monitoring. A special note is going the last mile to ensure that most vulnerable are not left out, something a very few countries are willing to be able to do. The experience has takeaways for poverty alleviation, even in the settings that lack high growth rates. When addressing the if definitions become critical. It is extreme deprivation that is being referred to here. It would be a different story if the income poverty thresholds of rich countries were used. While purchasing power parity, oh boy, or PPP, I hate saying P words, man. Adjustments can account for some of the differences measured of income poverty, ignore publicly provided services, which make all the difference in the Kerala context. So yeah, okay, that's an interesting sentence. There is also a valid debate over what it means to eradicate poverty. Some researchers have questioned the claim on the basis that some of the very poor have been overlooked, or that the true plight has been underestimated. This is likely so, but the argument sometimes borders on semantics. I lived on the border of semantics one time. It was a terrible place. That's a joke. NITI Aayog, India's Policy Commission, uses the National Multidimensional Poverty Index, or the MPI, which considers deprivations in health, education, and income, and found that Kerala had the lowest, by far, MPI of 0.55% of population. It is likely that some 187,000 people were extremely poor by this definition. And there's a big long thing in parentheses with a lot of formulas I'm not going to read. With the MPI-based target, the program has included 103,099 of the poorest so far. While the Kerala model is distinctive in its mechanics, there were ground-level efforts excluded through surveys of basic needs. This proactivity in reaching the otherwise invisible and voiceless stands in contrast to many contexts that fail to identify the extremely poor, let alone reach them. In this endeavor, oh boy, that guy's long name, the Athadurid Raya Nirmarjana Project was instituted to identify the uplift those outside the support system with 5 years. Multiple tests refined deprivation and rights documents like the Aadhaar and ration cards formalized the list of beneficiaries. Yeah, they had to figure out where these poor people are and try to service them, and just instead of just applying a catch-all solution and saying, we solved the problem, we have to do nothing else. The provision of essential food and medical care was a top priority. There was extensive community participation led by local governments and supported by community extension workers like the ASHA and the Kudumbashri, field level validation. A good starting point helps. When it comes to education, health, and consumption, Kerala has had a more egalitarian distribution than most. Although distribution has worsened lately, Kerala's consumption Gini coefficient and the 0.3s compares to over 0.4 in comparator economies and average incomes. Don't know what the Gini coefficient is, but it sounds tricky. And they don't explain it. That is, the bottom 50% of the population has a higher share of consumption in Kerala compared to them. A relatively favorable distribution of social markers helps eliminate the extreme poverty. The essence of eradicating extreme poverty lies in it being sustainable. It is not a one-shot operation. Sustainability requires that the protected be eventually weaned off support program. Furthermore, large numbers are near poor, hovering just above the poverty line, and any economic or environmental shock could push them below it for prolonged periods. Therefore, active monitoring, community participation, and rapid response mechanisms need to be in place. Kerala has the highest life expectancy in India at 75 years, less than a decade below Japan and Singapore. The success and longevity also brings problems of the aged. Oh, you're old now. Now you're old and poor. You didn't die. So now you're old and poor. Well, congratulations.
You're not living dead, longer but you're poverty.
Not... kind of a double-edged sword, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're living longer, but you're starving to death slower. There you go. Hey, okay. Okay. This requires both awareness and funding that being supported by economic growth. The United States is just going to take all the people and say, get a job or cut you off. That's our new plan for the United States. It's coming. And that's when I take up arms against the government. I mean, I'll have nothing to lose, right? Sustaining poverty eradication anywhere requires sound economic policy. The Kerala has been able to eliminate poverty, with growth averaging 6 to 7% over the last 2 decades, is testimony to the effective use of scarce fiscal resources. And to ensure the resilience of its growth, Kerala needs to improve its domestic investment climate to support productivity growth-driven income growth. Currently, the social investment is its greatest resource. It's not employed at home but exported. That's right. Its people are not employed at home but exported. They all leave because there's no jobs. While remittances contribute significantly to state finances, creating more productive opportunities, unable or willing to work overseas will increase state sustainability. By one estimate, Kerala has reduced poverty from 59.8% in the 70s to practically zero. So almost 60% of that whole entire state or province, or what do you want to call it, were poverty in the 70s, and now it's basically nobody. Basically nobody, except there are a few people that fall through the cracks and hopefully get, assistance.
Yeah.
While economic growth helped, removing extreme poverty has required social programs and basic needs of everyone, active monitoring systems, community participation led by local governments, and rapid response mechanisms play a big role. Modest means presents daunting challenges, but they need to be a constraint to confronting extreme poverty when the right priorities are in place. In the global fight against all forms of poverty, the Kerala experience has a lot to offer both high and low income countries. There's your story. And I just wanted to point out that crime does not happen in a vacuum. Crime happens because people don't have anything. And that is your number one cause of crime.
Correct.
Poverty.
I've always said that too, right? Like, why are people doing these things? Look at why, right? We need more people need to ask why instead of just punishing and punishing and punishing.
Yeah, teach a man. The old saying, I fed a man a fish, right? I fed him for a day. I gave him a fish. I taught him to fish, and I fed him for a lifetime. So there's more to it than just giving handouts. It's like, you probably should learn a trade, kid. Let's teach you how to weld. Let's teach you how to build a boat.
That's why you have to take, at least when in Maryland, right? If you become unemployed, you have to take those job getting classes so that they know that you know how to get a job before they give you money.
All states are not.
Yeah. That's just an example.
All states treat their money. Yeah. All states treat their money like they shit it out of their own body, right? Like, I had to shit this money. No, you just raised taxes, asshole. Come on.
Well, as my favorite saying goes, India has bigger skeletons in their closet in a haystack of silver lining. There you go.
There you go.
There's your mixed metaphor.
Hold on a second. There you go.
It's a good thing, but there's other problems they have that I think they need to also look at. Maybe you can look at multiple problems at the same time. That's true.
Right. Sorry.
Why the duck?
With the sound
Why the duck? Is that your only story?
What? Yeah, I had to duck because an air horn was coming at me. Yeah, that was it. That was all.
Okay, then let's roll the segue and get into my culture news.
All right, let's do it. A3.
The segue is...
I just call this segment A3.
Alliteration headline.
All right. Scam likely giving me a call again. Hey, Scammy. What's going on?
Okay, my culture news is about another ship. That's right. You found a ship in the sand from Portugal. I found a ship from Alexandria, and supposedly it was a party boat. So they were having raves on this ship. Oh. This is by Naila Heidner on Euronews Culture. The first century luxury vessel matches the description given by the Greek historian Strabo, who visited the city of Alexandria between 29 and 25 BC. So that's before, right? So that's 2000...
Alexander the Great times.
25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. People had plenty of fun in the past, too. An ancient Egyptian pleasure boat matching a description by Greek historian Strabo from the 1st century has been discovered off the coast of Alexandria. According to The Guardian, the vessel dating to the first half of the 1st century AD was 35 meters long and designed to carry a central pavilion with a luxury pointed cabin. Ooh! With its temples, palaces, and 130-meter-high Pharos Lighthouse, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, Alexandria was once among the most magnificent cities of antiquity. The party boat was found off the now submerged island of Anthriodos, which once formed part of the Portus Magnus, the great harbor of Alexandria. The Greek geographer, historian, and philosopher Strabo, Latin Strabo c. 64 BC to 24 AD, that's how long he lived, visited the Egyptian city around 29 to 25 BC and wrote about such boats. These vessels are luxury fitted out and are used by the royal court for excursions, likewise by crowds of revelers who set off from Alexandria across the canal to the public festivals. For day and night alike, the boats are full of people playing the flute and dancing inhibitedly and with great abandon. These guys, they were drunk off their ass. No boat from this era has actually ever been found. That's why this is so miraculous. The excavations were carried out by the European Institute for Underwater Archaeology, IEASM, under the direction of Frank Cordio, a visiting professor of maritime archaeology at the University of Oxford. Godio or Jodio? Godio told The Guardian. Let's just say he's Italian now. Godio told The Guardian, "It is extraordinarily exciting because for the first time such a boat has been discovered in Egypt. These boats are mentioned by various ancient authors, for example Strabo, and they also appear in iconography, but an actual boat has never been found until now." He added that it's an exceptionally large boat. I mean, what they say, 33 meters? As can be seen from a well-preserved wooden beams, which are about 7 meters wide. It may have required more than 20 rowers to be moved. The find lay just 7 meters below the water surface, or 1.5 meters beneath the sediment. So it was deep in the muck. Another theory, incidentally, is that the boat may have been a sacred bark belonging to a temple of the Egyptian goddess Isis. According to Godio, it may have formed part of a sea ceremony in honor of the goddess. Investigation of the wreck is still at its early stages. It could yield new insights into life, religion, and luxury, pleasure of the waterways in early Roman Egypt. The researcher added, further clues may soon come from the Greek graffiti found on the boat, which have not yet been deciphered. Ooh, somebody wrote some Greek graffiti. Oh man, that's so fun. Such new discoveries. It's a short story, but it's a cool story. There you go. Another boat discovered, but one of its kind. Ancient antiquity boat from over 2,000 years ago. It's amazing it survived.
You said it was You said it was a party boat, right?
Yeah, they were having parties.
Okay, so I'm stuck with that theme. Greek galleon gave gregarious gatherings.
Yeah.
It would be a party.
Indeed. Though I guess it's technically Roman Egypt, not Greek, but.
Okay. Roman rallying gregarious rearings. I can't redo it. You said the Greeks discovered.
Scooby's gonna have to do that
Alexandria,
one.
I think I'm free.
It's still good though. There was supposedly Greek graffiti on it, so I'm sure there's some Greeks around.
I'm just saying, Egypt was part of Greece at one time because of Alexander the Great. That part of Alexandria was, anyway.
Yeah.
It was
The
definitely
Macedonians,
I
believe.
They had a library. Right. Well, yeah, he was. But it's Greek history, right? If you look Greek history,
Don't tell that to the Macedonians.
Don't tell the Macedonians. But yeah,
we're
he
not
conquered
Greek.
So
Greek is just another
It
colonizer.
isn't like he didn't. Isn't like he didn't rule Greece, right?
All right, let's roll our segment wheel for this day in history.
All right, then. Anyway, yeah, I think Alexandria had at one time the world's greatest library, which was at one point destroyed, I believe, by the invading.
Okay, the next segue is a limerick. So I'll write you some more limericks here at the end of all things.
Limericks. Oh, we're doing this day in history, aren't we? All right, this day in history. And I do send you a video, so hopefully you got the time to load that. We're not going back too far in history. I just wanted to point out Otis Redding died this day in 1967 in a plane crash in Madison, Wisconsin. That's not in our history today, though. But the rest of this stuff is. 1824, revolutionary forces under the leadership of Venezuelan Antonio José de Sucre defeated the Spanish Royal Army at the Battle of Ayacucho. Get out of here, you bastages. Yeah, that had to be in Venezuela, I believe, which is on the east coast of South America. 1868, the world's first traffic light was erected near Westminster Bridge in London. People are still waiting at it. It hasn't changed. However, it was removed. Okay, never mind. However, it was removed a month later after a gas leak caused one of the lights to explode. Yeah, gas lighting goes all the way back to 1868. That was the first gas light. We got a traffic light. No, we don't. That was your gas light. 1934. Get it? Gaslighting? It's a terrible pun, I know. But and in 1934, British actress Judi Dench was born. She's turning 91 today. And we were talking about her yesterday. She's kind of fading in and out of reality with the rest of us. She's just visiting the past a little bit more than the rest of us, right? Which ain't a bad place. 1935, in this day, the first Heisman Trophy was awarded. The finalists were just announced. I have almost no interest in college football this year, so I don't even know who they are. I never heard any of them because I've watched almost no football because my cable TV is gone. I can't afford that shit, so I'm not going to watch 12 games in a weekend. Like
just watch YouTube.
Those days are over. Right, I can just watch the highlights and get the scores and say, "Oh, my team lost." I don't care. You know? Follow something else. Do something else. I don't watch them losers. Once again, people get mad at fans because they don't follow a losing team. I'm like, excuse me. Sports teams are owned by some billionaire. They're his toy. He's using that team to probably launder money, right? Hide profits, whatever he's doing. He doesn't give a shit about his fucking team as long as he's making money. And you're going to cheer for that when they're losing? I don't think so. Why would you? It makes no sense. Hey, losers, I'm behind you whether you win or lose. I'm like, no, let's get a new owner. I live very close to a city that had a terrible owner for over 20 years. And then when he left, they made the NFC Championship the following year. That's how bad owners can be, right? They went from 1991 until last year, Washington team, never even getting to the NFC Championship. As soon as they got rid of their crappy owner, brought in some new owners, including Magic Johnson, they almost went to the Super Bowl. They were one game away. They got their ass kicked in that game, but they're still one game away. Anyway, the Heisman Trophy, this is what we're back on to, is awarded the first time 90 years ago today. Annual award to recognize the finest college football player in the United States. The trophy was instituted by the Downtown Athletic Club in New York City, who renamed it in 1936 in honor of the club's first athletic director, John Heisman. I mean, John Heisman was a football player. He wasn't just a guy on a board, so let's not pretend he was just some guy on the board. 1958, John Birch Society was founded in the United States by Robert H.W. Welch Jr. to combat communism, but absolute total fucking fraud. Was not there to combat communism. It was started in reaction to black people getting rights.
Oh my God!
And what these John Birchers decided in 1958, it's no coincidence that 1958 was the year of the sun. It's a big year for civil rights. You had Little Rock. We had a lot of things happen in 1958. We had Eisenhower sending the 101st Airborne to make sure kids went to high school, to get into high school or junior high. So the John Birch Society is a racist organization hiding itself in anti-communism and calling everybody who wants civil rights a communist.
That's
immediately.
Crazy.
So, yeah, exactly. They were and they're running our government to this day. They're the Heritage Foundation. They're the Trump administration. They're MAGA. They're the same damn people. They're the same damn people that voted for George Wallace and switched over to Nixon in 1972. The same bastards. The John Birch Society, anti-American scumbags, Nazis, and fascists. Every damn one of them. Okay, there's my little speech. In other words, there's a communist everywhere. That's what
Watch out, and they're coming to get you. Don't pay attention to us doing everything else over here. Just make sure you're scared of the boogeyman.
Again, communism, in case you're curious, communism, you cannot own personal property. That is what communism is. It's never been a thing in the United States. It is actually not illegal to be a communist. There's no law against it. You can believe in anything you want. It's just these fascists think that their way of life and their religion and their bullshit is the only thing that matters, and they're trying to force it on the rest of us. Un-American, should be banned. John Birch Society should be labeled a terrorist organization. 1961, Tanganyika became independent. I have not heard of this place. Maybe it's going to be called something else later. With Julius Nyerere as his first prime minister. And in 1964, the territory united with the island of Zanzibar to form Tanzania. There you go. It's now called Tanzania. There you go. All right. So Tanzania became independent, but they were called something else in 1961. 1965, the animated special, my favorite as a kid, Charlie Brown Christmas, featuring characters of Charles Soule's popular Peanuts comic strip, first aired on American television and became a holiday classic. Charlie Brown, I definitely identified with Charlie Brown. I still do. I'm always getting that football pulled out from under me. There's always a metaphorical Lucy pulling that football out for me right at the last minute. Charlie Brown is my spirit animal. And it's so fitting that his first Christmas special premiered on my birthday. Wow. 1979, some 10 years after the World Health Organization began global vaccination program against smallpox, the disease was officially declared eradicated. That's right. The worst disease that we ever spread to the New World, smallpox, was eradicated, and now it's probably going to make a comeback because of Brainworm Bobby. Brainworm Bobby doesn't want anybody vaccinated. Let's not forget that George Washington had his troops inoculated for smallpox. He did. Ha 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 ha. That's right. You know why? Because it existed at the time. Scientists discovered if you infect somebody with a dormant version of a virus, it triggers your immune system. And that's been the vaccination thing ever since. And I got a smallpox vaccination when I went in boot camp, and you can still see it. It's, well, you can't see it in the naked eye that well, but they just take a pin and they prick you like, I don't know, 30 times, and it grows a scab, and you do not pick the scab. You let that scab heal, and you'll never get smallpox.
Yeah, they changed how they administer vaccines these days, so they don't have to do that anymore.
You're right. Right, I got that in 1985, so it's been a while. 1990, Slobodan Milosevic was reelected president of Serbia. He was a war criminal. And head of a socialist party forming the League of Communists of Serbia. People go, this is where United States people go, well, you know, the communists call themselves socialists. Well, yeah, you know what? I can call myself a barber. It doesn't mean I'm one, right? I can call myself an astronaut. Doesn't mean I am one. But hey, I'm Roger the astronaut, you know? You can call yourself a socialist when you're actually a communist. And you can call yourself anything. Anything you want. 1998, the United States General Assembly declared anti-Semitism a form of racism. Well, that took them a while, right? Holy crap! It only took almost 50 years after the end of World War II for them to realize it. Well, it was more than 50 years, wasn't it? It was 63 years since Germany turned into an anti-Jew state. But the United States General Assembly didn't think it existed until 1998. Good for you, idiots. 2016, South Korea President Park Geun-hye was impeached by the National Assembly amid allegations of corruption. She left office the following year after the country's constitutional court upheld the parliamentary decision. Okay. Corruption in South Korea, I don't know. I don't know anything about their government. 1990, Lech Walesa was elected president of Poland. Yeah, the guy really had more to do with the ending of the Soviet Union than most. Lech Walesa, the leader who had led Solidaria, Poland's first independent trade union, and had received the Nobel Prize in 1983 for peace, won Poland's first direct presidential election by landslide. A great day in the history of Poland. They said fuck you to the Soviet Union years before and won. And let's not forget, the people that contributed the most to the destruction of the Soviet Union are the following: Osama bin Laden, Lech Walesa, and the Pope. Those three. Ronald Reagan was just a figurehead saying words. He did nothing except build a bunch of defense stuff that never worked and never was going to work, like the strategic defense initiative, the Star Wars, where we're going to shoot lasers. I got to take missiles out of the sky. That never worked. That was never it was just a fantasy. It scared the Soviet Union a little bit, but scientists are like, are you fucking kidding me? Who wants that shit? Our birthdays today, by the way, is a happy birthday to Robert Hawke, Prime Minister of Australia. I don't know if he's still the Prime Minister of Australia. He'd be 89 if he was, so I think I should say former Prime Minister. He was born December 9th in 1929 in Bordertown, Australia. Australia has borders?
Yes, the ocean.
And he was born, I guess. Or maybe it's just bordering on the outback where, nobody is. Right? Maybe that's it. He died. Oh, he's no longer the Prime Minister. He died at the age of 89, sorry. He died in Sydney on May 16, 2019. So, heck, he would be 96 today, but he's not around. Other birthdays today: Grace Hopper, United States naval officer, mathematician, born in 1906. Kirk Douglas, Spartacus, among others, American actor and producer. If you've ever seen what is the movie? One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, right? Kirk Douglas was the big champion for that movie. but ran into a lot of communications difficulties getting the movie made. His son, Michael Douglas, eventually picked it up and got the movie made. Years after Kirk Douglas was doing it on Broadway. 1929, John Cassavetes' birthday. He's turning 96. 1934, Judi Dench, we did that. Sonia Gandhi, Indian politician, born in 1946. Happy birthday. Other things today. Today's date is December 9th. It's Weary Willie Day. I imagine Weary Willie is a clown because I see a picture of clown shoes. It's National Pastry Day, so get pasted. And it's Lutefisk Day. I know what lutefisk is because I've watched Bizarre Foods, and it's something they eat in Norway, and it's made its way to Minnesota, which has a lot of Norwegian, Swedish immigrants. And it's a fish thing that's really disgusting, right? That's what I gather from lutefisk. And it's also National Christmas Card Day. So those are your birthdays, your
things
pretty,
that are going on today. Definitely an acquired taste.
Oh yeah, lutefisk. I'd probably eat it. But I'll eat anything at least once. So that's your mispronunciations, your puns, your hypotheticals. We haven't had a limerick yet, but I think you got one, right?
We are about to do the
limerick. And
limerick.
everything for December 9th, 2025 on Before Lutefisk and Pastries.
Not a great combo, actually. Not a great combo.
I would eat lutefisk alone and see if my stomach doesn't reject it, and wait another hour to eat again. Because
maybe it's good on crackers. I don't know. I've never had it myself.
Maybe it's good. Look, they're serving it with guacamole in this picture.
Yeah,
so there you go.
The picture is weird. I saw that.
Yeah, guacamole
Potato
like chestnuts.
Well, and there's like bacon
chestnut?
Bits on top of it too.
Oh, there's the potatoes. I thought those were
In case you're not Scandinavian, lutefisk is basically cod that gets soaked in lye after it's dried to the point of becoming firm and leathery. And then it tenderizes the fish, and it becomes like this really gooey, it's almost like butter, but it's still cod. I do not like cod. That's honestly my biggest thing against lutefisk is that it's cod. I do not like cod. I've never cared for cod.
I like cod.
Yeah.
Cod's all right.
It's okay, but like if somebody was like, would you like cod or something else? I'd rather have something else.
Yeah, when we went to Delta Works and we had those fish and chips, that was really good. What kind of fish?
Yeah, fresh out of the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah. No, what kind of fish was it? I know it was fish.
I don't remember.
It was fish
I only
and
remember
chips.
the mussels because I got
That was
mussels.
the best. Now, we went around London and had fish and chips later that same trip, right? London, England, Scotland. I had fish and chips maybe 4 times, and the one I had at Delta Works was way better than the ones I had in England.
Yeah, probably because it was freshly caught right out of the ocean, like literally like out. Right.
Whatever the reason was, man. Yeah. Plus, it's how it's cooked. It's not necessarily.
Right?
You can ruin fish real easy. You can ruin fish real easy. Okay, so there's your bad.
Here are my
limericks. Let's have some limericks.
A Nobel Prize held high in his hand. For peace, he would make a bold stand. The Polish, they cheered as their future appeared, with Wałęsa, their bright new homeland. There you go. He said, you know what? Soviet satellite state, not a great gig. I'm going to have to say no for that one.
Right on. The end of the Soviet Union.
Another limerick. In York, where the riverside bends, a talent that never quite ends. With grace and with flair, Judy dazzles we stare. A gem whose brilliance transcends. Happy birthday, Judi Dench. And finally, of course, our favorite meal. On the 9th of December, hooray! Scandinavians cheer for Lutefisk Day. With lies and with cod, they make quite the prod, as the feast draws the family to play. There you go. There's your limericks for today.
All right.
It's also two international UN observances. International Day of Commemoration and Dignity of Victims of the Crime of Genocide and the Prevention of Crime. So this is for the victims of genocide, the natives out there who are from a place, and then people came in and said, you're not from this place anymore, and we're going to kill all of you so that you're not here anymore. We say no to that. Genocide is probably one of the worst crimes humans can commit on each other, because it's not just a personal crime, it's a broad crime, right? Everyone here die. Or even, I would say even worse, cultural genocide, which is like you're not allowed to practice your language, your beliefs, your religion. You have to assimilate to whatever the hell we want you to be, and we still won't like you. We'll still treat you like crap. So say no to genocide. It fucking sucks. It's also International Anti-Corruption Day. You know, like Hungary or I literally forgot the name. Russia, probably very corrupt. Zelensky
Turkey.
just had a corruption scandal himself. Let's say no to corruption,
Turkey,
especially in the
Belarus.
government, where people are peddling money, you know, and ruining your life so that they can make money off of your tragedy and then give it to their friends so they can, I don't know, sell some jets. I don't know. Corruption in government, bad. Corruption everywhere, bad. Say no to corruption. If you see corruption, call it out and say, hey, they're doing corruption over there. Stop that. Somebody do something. But there it is, all our international days. We will see you tomorrow. Oh, this has been Allison from the Netherlands, Roger from the US, as we finish off another Good Tues-Newsday. I hope you feel inspired by historical renovations, animal regrowth, and helping humans continue living on the planet. We will see you tomorrow for Wacky and Weird Wednesday, in which we'll cover all the weird and wacky news that's been going on this week. So make sure you're following on Twitch or subscribed on YouTube. Turn on those notifications on both the websites so you know when we go live and post a video. And if you would like, please support us on Patreon if you would like to see some before and after secret footage of this.
We take cash.
Yeah, we take cash. It's Roger's birthday. For his birthday, share this video with your friends. And get more subscribers on YouTube. Thank you. We appreciate the support, everyone. Now, let's go to our tragic mic drop moment. Inspiring but tragic. In New York City.
You say it's your birthday.
The subtitles. Strawberry fields forever.
I think the Beatles were just such a historically wonderful band.
John Lennon fan.
Identifiable, and he was at the helm of that. And also,
imagine if it was like Paul McCartney hater.
Stood up for so many principles and beliefs that he really went
the solo years.
And so yeah, everyone just adored him.
And this girl is definitely younger than 45, right? She does not remember Lennon at all.
I mean, it's really tragic these things happen. Like, sadly, John Lennon wasn't the first or last that this occurred. This happened to.
Musically, that.
Oh, like the crazy lady that shot Sam Cooke, right?
Or the lady or the employee that shot Elena.
Elena had a nut job.
She was just the figurehead. She had nothing to do with her job. She didn't fire her or anything.
The song is so appealing.
Right.
And yeah, I think I agree. As I just said, they finished making music.
Towards the end of his life, he was very inspiring with his peace, his fight for peace.
I think that's how legacy is made.
He's very just iconic, isn't he? Really.
Oh, here we got somebody from
Wow, really?
Liverpool.
That's some dedication.
Nice.
13 years in a row.
Oh yeah, he just really loved them, didn't he? Yeah. And it was very sad.
It'll be the usual rubbish, but it won't cost much.
That's
my
she's
job.
probably the same age as him, right?
Yeah, we all like
Similar
Imagine,
age.
don't we?
Oh, no.
Imagine, yeah.
No, you
John
think
Lennon would
she's
be
younger?
85. He'd be 85 if he was
okay.
alive, so I don't know.
I guess she's like 60 then, or maybe. I don't know how old she said she was.
And because New York didn't have life without parole, this idiot gets a parole
Love the
hearing every few
capitalists
years.
capitalizing on.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old